Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Gauntlet of Gaming. My name is Malik.
My name's John.
Francis.
Santiago.
And remember, these hands are rated E for everyone. Today, we have a very interesting topic for you all today, as we will be talking about the new Sonic trailer that just dropped. Yay. As well as video game movies in general. So, sit back, relax, and just chill out to the GG crew as we talk about video games and movies this time. So before we get started, I just wanted to announce that we do kind of have a little schedule going when it comes to our podcast, at least. You can expect a podcast from us every other Sunday, my apologies.
There you go.
So every other Sunday, and typically they should be up by 8 p.m. at the latest. So if you're trying to get some work done right before the week starts, before the Monday comes around, you have a podcast from us you'll be able to listen to. They're normally no more than about 45 minutes, so don't worry about a huge time commitment with that. And the best place you can listen to that podcast right now is our YouTube channel. That is the Gauntlet of Gaming on YouTube, the Gauntlet of Gaming. So make sure that you're typing that in. You should be able to find us now. We have a few subscribers, thank goodness. So that means that, we're recognized by YouTube. Yay! Woo.
Pass it along to your friends is all I gotta say, man. I want to see more smiling faces.
Yeah, I mean,
I love people.
Yeah, YouTube is probably the place where a lot of our content is going to be the most. So please make sure you're sharing it with people who you think may be interested. You talk about it, like it. If you don't like what we're doing, comment, let us know. We're always open to suggestions and areas of opportunities because we want to grow, but we want to make sure that you're helping us get through that growth. Yeah, no.
We're not getting that far yet.
No. Another place that you can find us, if you're with the older tech, you can find us on Facebook. We have a Facebook group called the Gauntlet of Gaming, or should be a page, I believe. But yeah, we're also still the Gauntlet of Gaming there as well. That's where you'll find a lot of posts talking about when we're going live, links to things that we're working on, and things of the such. So make sure you check that out.
And also we'll be posting art there and on our...
Not so much the Twitter, but yeah, we do have our Instagram. The Instagram is the Gauntlet of Gaming with underscores instead of spaces. This is the best place to contact us, so you can direct message us if you have any comments or questions that you want to give. And it's also a place where we'll post a lot of fun content that you don't normally see on YouTube. I know there's a lot of video ideas that are coming up soon, so they should be going through the pipe work and posted by next weekend. So make sure you're checking out our Instagram, make sure you're checking out our Facebook, make sure you're checking out our YouTube. And for those of you who are really artistic and you want to send us some stuff, you don't really know what we look like yet, except for John and I, if you watched our podcast, or not our podcast, but our live stream that we did on Friday. But we have a Twitter. Yes, we have a Twitter. Don't know how long it's going to be used for, but you can find us on Twitter at @the_gauntlet with a 4 instead of an A. So that again, that's at @the_gauntlet, because Twitter, I guess, is the best place to send artwork. So if you have any art you want to send our way, send it our way. We'd love to check it out. But again, if you want to communicate with us, best place is Instagram. We do also have a Twitch account that's up. You can find us on Twitch at @the_gauntlet_of_gaming. Yes, I know it's complicated. It be like that sometimes. But if you ever wanted to watch us do live streams, that's the best place to watch us do it. But at the same time, YouTube is where a lot of our media is going to be at. So with that being said, let's get to the news.
Oh boy. First topic of the day.
Oh man. I hope Keemstar doesn't listen to this and get upset that I stole that from him.
I 100% think they will be.
Why would Keemstar ever listen to this podcast?
Because we're rich and famous, Auntie. Don't you know this?
That's the funniest lie you've ever said to my face.
Share the wealth, John.
Oh, sorry.
How can
That's right.
Trickle down effect. Where's it at?
Oh gosh, you guys.
Not in my house.
Not even a trickle.
Not even a trickle, no. I'm not handing a penny to you.
Man,
I may hand a penny to you.
okay,
cool.
so mean to each other. All right, so let's bring it back to our first topic of the day. Sonic the Hedgehog is a very famous video game character that I'm sure a lot of us grew up playing the games. We all have our favorite and our least favorite. Sonic 06.
I think that's everybody's least favorite.
Yeah, some people were lucky enough to not play it.
I was the guy who
I
played
haven't
the surfer one. The one when they had hoverboards.
Oh, Sonic Riders?
Yeah.
Or Sonic, yeah. That one was really cool.
That was my favorite.
I think my favorite had to be Sonic Heroes.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, I think Sonic Heroes was the
played
one
that
that I
a
really
lot.
appreciated. Mostly because the theme was just a straight banger.
Oh.
Just hearing the
Yeah,
Sonic Heroes
the
theme
music,
play
right?
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was so
man.
good.
Sonic
Casino.
Adventure 2.
I've heard a lot of people enjoying that one too.
Which
So,
one?
yeah. Sonic Adventure 2.
Oh.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I mean the casino from Sonic Heroes.
So nice.
Ooh, that's
So
where you
good.
spend most of your
And
time.
then
as
the
a kid
mansion, the haunted mansion.
See, I didn't spend a lot of time with the haunted mansion just because the casino was the place where I like
Yeah,
took
I
up
would
most
just
of
hang
my
out
time.
there.
Yeah.
Gamble.
Oh, Francis.
I mean, it's not like we could actually gamble.
True. But I think the casino, because it felt more like a pinball machine, if anything, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So I mean, a little bit of gameplay there.
Yeah.
But I mean, either way,
It was fun about
we all have some good memories with Sonic and some not so good memories with Sonic. But now comes probably one of the darkest memories with Sonic, aside from him kissing a human female.
Woo!
We're not even delving into that one. But Sonic,
Crying.
oh God, Sonic,
Is
kind of
it?
like other characters, is coming out with a live-action movie, and I actually find this hilarious because for a lot of people who don't know, the very first video game live-action movie was Super Mario Brothers.
Oh my gosh. That
Oh
piece of
my
trash.
gosh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, was it a TV show?
No,
It
it
was
was
a
a movie.
No.
Yeah.
So bad.
I mean, there was a Super Mario Bros. TV show.
I remember how big they
The
made
TV
that
show
Mario.
was much better than the.
Yeah, there was the Mario cartoon.
The TV
Yeah.
show opened up with a little live action like skit.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's what I
And then it
remember.
went into the cartoon, and then it played the Legend of Zelda cartoon afterwards, and that's where the "well, excuse me, princess" comes from.
Yeah. So yeah, the first video game live action, at least an internationally released film. The first internationally released video game live action film was
So
Super
bad.
Mario Brothers. And
So bad.
it's funny because it's like it took this long for us to get that live action Sonic movie, and I think that's a good thing. I think that's a really good thing. But also there's potentially hope that we might, or hope? I don't know if I'd say hope, but there's a chance that we might see a Mario movie surfacing in the future too, depending on how this goes. Because
I don't know
after
if Nintendo will ever let that happen again.
well, I mean, hey, Detective Pikachu
live,
did well.
Live,
so
wait, live action Mario or
Yes.
animated like Sonic?
I hope it's animated like Angry Birds. I think if they're gonna do a Sonic
that would be
movie,
cool.
Yeah,
I think that would be
That'd be
cool.
cool to see.
Yeah,
for-
I'd
It's
enjoy
like watching our Smash Bros. Players, you
Yeah.
know? It's not a 2D,
I mean,
but it's a 2D.
And honestly, they should have kind of done this with Sonic, but hey, you got to get that money.
Ooh.
It's cheaper to do live action than it is to do animated, so I understand why they kind of went what they're going
The
with.
world's not ready for Big the Cat.
No one is ready for Biggs the Cat.
I'm ready for Eggman.
I that was something I was kind of excited for.
Who's that
So
guy?
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey, yeah.
Carrey.
So Jim
I
Carrey
was
being
like,
Dr.
is it Will Ferrell? It's
Robotnik.
not Will Ferrell.
Yeah, for people who don't know, Dr. Robotnik, Dr. Eggman, they're the same person.
It's just he starts off as Dr. Robotnik.
Yeah.
And then Sonic drives him crazy and he becomes Eggman.
He becomes Eggman.
I
Yeah.
thought Sonic gave him that name.
Sonic's fault.
Didn't
Nah.
Sonic give him the name Eggman?
Probably, maybe. I don't know. I'm not the biggest of Sonic
I'm not a huge
fans.
lore
I'm
fan.
not,
Yeah.
I'm not huge on the Sonic lore.
I'm not either. I just remember that I grew up with Eggman first and then learned of Robotnik after the fact.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, hey, we're not stans, we're not the biggest fans who would go out and buy all the Sonic merch, but we've played games, we've enjoyed the content, and we've watched and avoided Sonic Boom.
Oh.
I the
Oh.
old Sonic cartoon where he would always eating chili dogs and he played the guitar.
Sonic
Oh,
Sonic X. Yeah,
Yeah.
Sonic
Oh,
X,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh my god, Saturday.
So yeah, Sonic X. Oh man.
That was a good
And
show.
that was Kids WB, right?
It was.
Yeah.
WB kids.
That was.
So, or
I
was
always
it
liked
Kids
that.
WB or was it
WB kids.
4Kids? I think it was
It
4Kids.
I think it was Kids WB.
Kids WB.
I think it was Kids WB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kids was imprinted on the top.
Yeah, but
Good.
and no, it was Kids WB
Yeah.
because Static Shock.
Yup.
Oh,
Static
yeah,
Shock. They were in the
Static
same.
Shock.
Yeah, they were in the same slot together.
The best.
That
So-
was awesome.
So yeah, so
And
Sonic
then
plays
that
a.
slime guy.
What's up?
The slime guy also.
Slime guy.
Slime guy.
What are you talking
That blue guy.
What?
Blue guy.
Oh, Osmosis Jones.
Oh, that's right. The Osmosis cartoon.
Osmosis Jones.
Yeah.
Ozzy and Drix. That's what you
That's
call them.
right.
Yeah, that's
Ozzy
right.
and Drix.
Yeah, not as good as the movie.
No, the movie was the
Way
best. The
Yeah.
movie had the best music.
Now, speaking of movie, we got the Sonic movie in front of us that we will be seeing in the near
Gotta go
future.
fast.
Are we all seeing this together?
I'm not seeing it with you guys, that's for sure. I don't think you want to watch this movie with
He's
me.
gonna be visibly upset the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm not. No.
I'm
Like,
gonna watch it with probably my family.
If you thought that I was a jerk about everything that ever came out in media ever, like I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna purposely like have a frowny face. Like I'm gonna be Angry Cat 2.0 with this entire movie. There's gonna be a kid who's gonna get excited, and I'm just gonna look at that kid and be like, "Shut up! You don't deserve this." But the thing about this movie that I do want to say And this is coming from me being an artist myself. I want to give major props to the artist who not only worked on the original rendition, but the new edition of the trailer that came out and pretty much the entire film. Because 6 months. It was 6 months since the original trailer came out. And then we got this new trailer. And there's a lot of change that happened. And I mean, even, say what you will about the first design. They put, you have to be very skilled as an artist to do anything like that with 3D anyways.
Yeah,
and merging
really good.
animation with live action.
Felt like,
yeah. Did you see that hair?
Hey, hair
man,
physics can be a very cool thing.
That was an interesting hairstyle.
So, it wasn't the best first design.
It was fur, though.
Well,
Like,
they're supposed to be quills.
Yeah, I thought they were
That's
quills, not fur.
It looked realistic, which was cool, but the character design itself was just very unsettling.
Yeah, and I don't think I blame the artist for that one, as I
No.
would blame the direction that they were given for that film.
Because they were just following what they had to do to get
Unfortunately.
paid, and that's what we all do in this world.
Yeah, so I want to give props to them because you are the heroes. Whether this film is successful or not, at the end of the day, you were able to follow directions and then go and make people happy with your redesigns.
I mean, after they got cyberbullied enough.
Well, it's not so much them as it is just more the people in charge of them.
I wonder why they didn't go in that direction in the first place.
Part of it could have just been financials. It would probably less financial of a burden for them to go with the design they went with. Because if you look at the design, there's less moving parts. It looks like one singular body. I think the only thing that was disconnected from his body was the shoes. So like everything else was his body. So his hands, the belly was also part of the quills. Yeah, it was all one singular body. So it was probably just a lot easier for them to animate and do something like that.
Then they had to spend an extra $50 million.
Well, hey, if they're gonna make money back from having this better design, it's part of we'll talk about that because that's part of the controversy and conflict that I kind of have with this film in general. It looks more like
Wreck-It Ralph now, in my opinion.
It doesn't. I wouldn't say it does. Because because Wreck-It Ralph isn't that cartoon meets live action. It's more of a modern rendition of Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh yeah,
that's what I would say. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point.
It's
like,
a
part
modern.
Of his fur still looks like real to an extent.
Oh, okay.
Well, the thing about it is, it's not. Everyone forgets it's not fur. It's quills.
I mean, it's not meant to be fur.
Well, no. Well, with the first rendition of it, it was fur.
No, it looked like fur, but they're quills. That's why when Robotnik picks up that singular piece and he tries, it's a quill. He's picking up a quill, not a piece of fur.
Yeah.
Because fur are single individual strands like hair.
I mean, but in that scene, it shocks the one that doesn't poke him.
I mean, either way,
Has anybody really looked at a real hedgehog in this group?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why
because they're all quill.
They're not
that's
blue.
the point. Yeah.
I mean, they have fur on
I
their
mean,
nose.
hey, you can paint them blue.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think it's
guy.
super unhealthy to paint them blue. We're not telling anybody listening right now to paint a hedgehog.
No one here on this podcast condones animal cruelty.
Yeah.
That's why we sponsored
Banned.
Well, if you ban me, then you ban all the art creativity that goes into this podcast.
Yeah, we really are this guy a lot.
So yeah, but yeah, I wanted to just start off and give props to the artist because they did a lot. And as someone who's also an artist, I know how hard it can be to do something simple. I do a lot of simple designs. To do something so complex as that, yeah, you put in some work. So I greatly appreciate it.
Bravo.
And that's my main reason why I see the film is not because of being a Sonic fan. I'm not a Sonic fan. I can't even say that. I used to be when I was a kid because that's what every kid was.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm watching it just because I want to see how the artist integrated in the modern day. Because we saw with Detective Pikachu, this Who Framed Roger Rabbit type of thing where it's live action and cartoon come together in one. And the thing is, if you aren't paying attention to the art world right now, 3D, VR, AR type stuff is the future right now of art and media. Everything is augmented or virtual reality where we are with the fictional. And so the fact that more and more films are trying to do it, I kind of want to watch it because the thing about trailers is a trailer is just snippets. We'll see what they want us to see. But when we go to the movie and I watch it, there may be some scenes with the new Sonic design that look really cool. Or they may use an effect that it's like, wow, that's really awesome. Like, for instance, in the new trailer, they had the moment where Sonic was going through all the Flash magazines, or the Flash comic books, I mean. He was going through the Flash comic books, and the way that shot was, done, I was like, that's so cool. And it's so funny because the thing is, he's moving fast, and visibly we see he's moving fast, but we are also able to tell he's reading Flash comics. And I was like, oh, that's a funny joke. I like that. And so I'm curious to see what other artistic, things were taken when it came to this film. So that's why I'll watch it. Am I going to watch it more than once? Most definitely not. Is there anything that can kind of deter me from watching it? Not anymore.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, I'd say now that the new design... Because at first with the old design, I was kind of just like, nah, I'll take a hard pass on this one. But with the new design, it's like, at least I can watch the movie and see the character design that I'm used to. It can be a bad movie, but at least the character design looks right. So that's my take on that. But speaking of the fact of like the old trailer, that's kind of the question I want to ask you guys is, before this new change came, so if we were to go with the assumption that they weren't going to change the film and just stick with the old design, were you going to give the movie a chance? And we'll start with John.
I was not. Only because, I mean, yeah, I'm a big movie buff and stuff like that. I like watching movies. I've never been a fan of video game movies. I haven't been sunk into one enough to like actually really enjoy it. And Sonic the Hedgehog being Sonic the Hedgehog, sure, I played him as a kid and stuff like that, but I mean, the movie's not for me. I didn't watch Detective Pikachu, and that was me. Sure, I liked the cast, and I heard it was really well done and stuff like that. I just didn't find it appealing to me as a movie goer. Yeah. I prefer to see some other kind of adventure, not video games.
Gotcha.
And I'd like to play video games. I don't want to watch a video game. But beforehand, I was not going to watch it at all. Yeah. Now I'm thinking more on the line of watching it only because it brought up such a spur. I want to see what the outcome was.
Gotcha.
And that's just for like movie going. I want to go into the theater and be like, oh, well, that was worth all the yelling and screaming. Or, oh, well, everybody can still yell and scream at this thing.
Yeah.
And please do. Yeah. But like you said, the artists worked their butts off flipping this around. They got such a bad rep on the media.
Yeah.
And I would like to see that they changed around the entire movie to fit that new kind of animated style. Because from what it looked like on my end, it looked like at the beginning Sonic was part of our world.
Yeah.
Right now, from the trailer that I watched, it looked like he got transported to our world.
Yeah.
And that's what I like. And that's what I would want. That's why I would watch it.
Okay. Because
they're not putting him in our world and making it a normal day blue hedgehog running around, New York.
Exactly.
We have some sort of teleport happening.
Yeah.
And going into our dimension or something like that. So it'll be interesting to see. What about you, Francis?
At first, I wasn't going to watch it. Right now, I probably still won't. I mean, kind of like what you were saying, I'm not that much of a movie person when it comes to video games, because Sonic is Sonic.
Yeah.
I want to play as Sonic.
I
don't want to see him run around. I want to roll. I want to go in the casino. Like the pinball. I want to have fun as Sonic.
Yeah.
So basically, yeah, I don't know if I'll still see it. I mean, yeah, granted, they did put in a lot of effort into it. And I hope people do watch it, because if they're going to complain, you better watch it.
Yeah, exactly. And I was one of the ones that complained, so I figured
you better go watch it.
Yeah, I better go watch it, only because, if I dissed them, I dissed them, and I want to own up to the $7 of a ticket that
I mean, yeah, as unsettling as the first design was, I wasn't going to watch it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, maybe just for fun. If you guys invite me, I'll watch.
Yeah. Invite you.
So if it's one of those like... it just becomes one of those like, oh, Malik, you watched it. How was it?
Yeah, we're probably just...
It's not half bad. So it's like, all right, fine, we'll do a GG movie night. We'll just go watch it. And then we'll come back. Yo, that's what we should do. We should do like movie reviews.
Oh.
Yeah, we should do like GG movie reviews.
Movie review with Santiago and Jonathan. Screw you other two guys. Santi, you go.
Yeah, speaking of Santi, how about you? How do you feel?
I was excited for it when they first announced it, and I saw the character design, and I was completely repulsed by it. How dare they?
He threw up immediately and said, "My boy, my head."
I saw it it evokes me the same feeling when I look at pictures of tarantulas.
Yeah.
I hate looking at pictures of tarantulas. It creeps me out. I don't like spiders. That same feeling. And then what they did the redesign, so I'm pretty happy with it now. Honestly, I really like that beginning of the trailer where they showed Green Hill Zone. I want more of that.
Yeah, that's what I saw. That's what
It
drew me
looks
to going to
so
watch
nice.
it.
I was like, this looks so good. Give me more of Sonic's world, because the way they're treating from what I can get from the trailer, is they're treating it like Sonic's from like another planet, like he's a legit alien.
Yeah, exactly.
And I want to see more of Sonic's planet. Earth is boring. Give me more Sonic's planet.
Yeah, and I honestly, that kind of goes into the next question that I was going to talk about, which was like, you know, what do you think of the new design and what do you think of the new trailer as a whole? And for me, when I watched this trailer, it was the new story they told that made me want to watch this movie even more. Because the first trailer came out and it's him getting ready on like that long stretch of what looked like road.
The first, Nintendo game style.
Well, no, for the very first trailer, it was that long stretch of what looked like country road.
Oh,
like
66
kind
yeah.
of.
And it was, the start of Gangster's Paradise where he's stretching and getting ready to do the EMP when he went supersonic. And for me, it was just like, okay, is this like a movie where he's an experiment? Like, I've seen plenty of movies where the cartoony character was an experiment gone wrong and he was set free. And I was like, I don't want to watch a movie where Jim Carrey's trying to hunt down Sonic because it was an experiment that he made or that the company made. And I was like, that's not Sonic. I don't want to watch that. And it's not a story that I care to watch in general. And so with this new one where it's like, yeah, in my world, everyone's trying to, chase me down and things like that. And so he's like, I got to warp. I was like, yes, thank you. He's an escape. He's an escape artist where not like in the sense where he got captured, but he's basically just trying to escape the boredom of his world.
Yeah.
And I find that to be interesting because Sonic is a video game character and it's kind of a mirror remedy of gamers. Where it's like, well, why do you play games? Because it's an escape from the world that we're trapped in and all these things are happening to us and woe is me. So we find a new place that's completely different than the world that we're from. And I kind of made that connection. I was like, even if they didn't intend that, that was pretty cool. So I really like that they, did that. And yeah, showing Green Hill, oh man. I was just like, okay, they took it a step because they didn't have to do that. They really didn't have to do that. All they had to do was just have a voiceover. It's like, yeah, in my world, da-da-da-da. But no, they showed him running through Green Hill. And it's like, awesome.
Give me more.
Yeah. The other thing about the trailer, they changed. And it could just be how they shot it and how they blocked it. Or it could just be an actual narrative change. They changed the way that they're perceiving the EMP going off. Because for the first trailer, it was just him running down a straight road and then boom. He goes supersonic, and then everyone's just like, oh my gosh, like, we gotta figure out, like, what's going on here. But it's literally just him being goofy. He didn't set off the EMP because he was trying to run really fast.
He did on accident.
He did on accident.
He was playing baseball with himself.
Yeah. And the thing is, because, like, the first trailer, it made it, I couldn't tell what he was doing. Is he stretching because he's trying to get back to his world? Was he stretching because he's trying to find a new level of speed? Why was he running down this long road? But then the thing is, in the new trailer, he was playing baseball.
He's just lonely.
Yeah. He was really just playing baseball with himself because he was the only person who understood him, on that deep level. Which brings up this idea.
Oh, yeah. I had a quick
Are we
question.
going to see other Sonic characters?
I was just about to say. Are we going to see Tails? Are we going to see
Amy
Shadow?
or Shadow, yeah. Or Knuckles.
Knuckles.
Man, if they make a
I need to
reference
see
to
Knuckles.
Uganda Knuckles.
See, but there's no way we'll see Shadow, since Shadow was actually an experiment.
I mean, he
Show
was
me
an
the way.
experiment, but at the same time, what's to say that he was an experiment that happened in their world with a completely different professor, and he just happens to be like the antagonistic rival of Sonic, where it's like, hey Shadow, you want to play? And Shadow's like, screw off.
That would be
And he's
funny.
like, okay. And he just like runs away, and he comes back, how about now? No. Okay. How about now? And it's like that, it sets up this really fun dynamic. And it can even, this is why I'm hoping the characters are introduced, because he could be running from Amy. Like, that could be one of the gags.
Oh, that'd be funny.
Yeah.
That'd be funny.
He's
Where,
running from Amy.
because here's the thing, and this is why I think he's running from Amy. Because do you know when this is coming out?
Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's coming on Valentine's
This movie's
Day.
coming out February 14th. It's coming out on Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
And everyone's on YouTube. They're joking around because they're just like, "This is the perfect like first date movie." And
No,
I'm like,
it is
"No,
not.
it's not.
No,
You're
do
too-
not.
Yeah.
If you are listening to this and you take your
first date
to a Sonic
to
movie.
a Sonic movie.
They don't deserve. You don't deserve.
Sonic
to be
is canonically always
You
trying to
better
get
have a-
Amy because she basically stalks him.
Exactly. Yeah.
You better have a good reason to watch that movie afterwards.
Yeah.
Just
Like
say.
you both have to be mega Sonic fans for this to be a date. But that's my thing about
Because
this though.
Amy hunts him down with the hammer.
Yeah. And that's my thing is it feels like that's what they're setting up with this story, and that would make me love this movie even
That
more.
would be amazing.
Yeah.
So funny.
It'd be really great because it's like, okay, so all the shenanigans that happened in our real world were caused because you were trying to run from a girl. And Sonic's just like, well, yeah. Because, Sonic can be the naive
Yeah.
person where it's like he doesn't understand what being
What
in a
is
relationship
love?
is
Like,
like. Yeah.
that was
Dude,
me
if they
when I
play
was
What
young.
Is
What
Love,
is love?
I might actually laugh at that.
Baby, don't hurt me. I'm not gonna sing the
That was
song.
basically me when I was young, though.
Just running, yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of us had that phase where it was just like the girl would be like, haha, I like you. And it's like, and everything I know in this world suddenly is falling apart. I must run.
Basically, yeah. I would appreciate like a sly or subtle joke to his chili dog addiction.
I mean, yeah.
Or show it starting.
Just show it. Or it's just like, what is this? It's called a chili dog. Chili dog, huh? Ooh.
2 scenes I'm looking for out of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for Sonic breaking into a jewelry store and stealing all the gold rings.
Yeah.
All the emeralds.
And then I'm looking for an Area 51 Naruto run joke. Just because let's be honest, when they're normal
That's
running,
fair.
you see him with his arms
That's
behind his
very
back.
true.
And I would love to see him run right past Area 51 as the
Yeah.
Naruto
And
guy.
just be like, hey guys,
I
how's it going?
I know we're trying to avoid memes and all, but that's a serious joke
But
right
no, that's
there.
funny.
Because that would be funny, and the robbery, that's a little splash towards the gold
yeah.
ring joke. Because you're not going to hear the iconic da-ding in modern life.
True.
It's-
Yeah,
And
that has to happen.
that has,
It has
to happen.
yeah. Because you brought up like the reference to the emeralds, and it's just like that would be such a hilarious thing where it's just like I've collected all the emeralds. Why is nothing
Where did
happening?
you get that?
Yeah, it's just like
Why are
chaos.
the cops here?
Or,
Yeah,
or if he's just casually running past the jewelry store and he looks at them and goes like, "Are those the chaos emeralds?"
Yeah, he's like, wow, they have chaos emeralds here. He just breaks. Yeah,
Time to go Super Saiyan.
man,
That would be so funny.
that's another thing. If we get Supersonic in this movie,
That'd be pretty great.
that'd be pretty interesting.
I'd be okay with that.
I don't know how they would fit it in, but that'd be really cool.
I wouldn't mind even if it's True Horn did.
Yeah. What would you want in the movie, Francis? Aside from a casino level.
That's all he wants
that
out of
was
this.
fun. But... I mean, all the stuff we're talking about now is kind of exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, those were just dreams of mine.
I mean,
like,
still, you never know. They might
yeah, I
fit.
know.
Yeah, exactly.
And I want to see those scenes.
Yeah.
I may not get it, but like
Mhm.
also it'd be funny.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, is like talking about the film and like what we like to see, and because just here we're just speculating.
Yeah.
And these are all things that if they showed it in the trailer, it's or even if they referenced it in trailer, like where it's like Sonic runs past a jewelry store and he backpedals back.
Yeah, it's just
And he
staring.
doesn't even show the crime happening, but it shows him like looking back. Immediately it's like, I know where this joke is going. I want to watch the movie just to see where this
Where's the
joke
deleted
goes.
scene of him stealing?
Exactly. And it kind of brings up this point of the narrative change of Sonic as a character, because they honestly can do whatever they want with Sonic so long as it's close to the source material. So it's like it's whatever. And plus there's the big question at the end of the day of who is this film even for? Because the thing is, and we kind of asked this question
Always our question when it
Yeah.
comes to our
When it
podcast
comes
and
to
our live
anything
stream.
we're
is,
working on.
Who
Who's
is
it
this for? Who's the audience?
Yeah, because
that matters.
If it's for kids, they weren't going to get a lot of kids because no one grows up with Sonic like that anymore.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, they have the Sonic Boom stuff, but
That's not.
What's
who's
it rated?
kids
Is
that
it
do that?
13?
The movie?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. It's probably
I didn't
PG.
see I didn't see the rating for it yet.
I highly doubt it's PG-13. That's way too mature
Yeah.
for a Sonic movie. That's way too
Especially
mature.
now that they've actually captured, at least from the trailers, closer to what his like real personality is from the game.
Yeah.
It's not going to be PG-13.
I want him to finish a level and blow a bubble gum pop.
I want him to drown. And have this
Except hedgehogs can
Does-
swim.
He
But
does a
he's
jumping
an
jack.
alien.
That's true.
But
Yeah.
he does a jumping jack and then he goes
But-
to the
oh
map.
yeah, they do make that joke that Sonic
Yeah.
can't swim.
Where it's like he's in the water and it's just like, I'm trying to save the thing. I can't blow. And then his drowning animation is him like spread out like an yeah. And then of course like the human has to jump in and be like, Sonic, I have to say, that's like, you know what, you can't make it a serious scene anymore because anyone who's an adult who grew up with Sonic drowning in the
He's
level,
gonna
they're just
die.
gonna die of
Yeah,
laughter.
this is gonna great.
They're gonna just crack up. But I think it's cool that they changed one aspect though of Sonic, and at first I was very confused by it, but the new trailer kind of reassured how it works, and that's the mechanic of rings. Because the thing about it is, in the games, it's like, well, why are we, collecting rings? Same thing with Mario. Why are we collecting coins in Mario?
To get an extra life.
One up.
But the thing about it is, like, why did it have to be coins for us to get an extra life?
That's true.
Why couldn't it just be, you reach the checkpoint, you have an extra life? Because the thing is, the extra life for cartoon characters is a completely different thing than for humans. So, the only time a human got an extra life was Scott Pilgrim versus the World. But then again, that's Scott Pilgrim versus the World, so that's a completely different narrative to talk about.
I've actually gotten a 1-up in my life.
No, you haven't.
When was that?
I don't know. I was just saying.
Well,
No,
you
God. Anyways.
When you pass 6 feet.
Yeah.
But the thing for me with the
When I
rings...
test, when I'm 6'4".
The thing about the rings is it makes it seem... Because, when Sonic gets hit, his rings fall. And it's like, oh gosh, this is a dire circumstance. I lost my rings. And they're gone. Like,
Gets
you
hit
can't
by a
collect
car.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gets hit by a car.
Gets hit by a bug. Rings fly
That'd be
everywhere.
hilarious.
Yeah. So the thing for me, though, is it's like the rings now have purpose. They're this way of teleportation. Because the thing is, Sonic is fast. But Sonic isn't super fast where he can just go around the world, in 80 seconds. He needs those rings because he's supersonic, but he's not light speed.
Mm.
So that's the whole thing about Sonic is he can break the sound barrier, but he's not going faster than the speed of light. That's where the whole thing in is it Sonic Adventures 2 where it's running
Sonic
around
is
at the
an
speed of
inventory?
sound. I forget. It's like the city escape.
Oh, the song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's running around at the speed of sound. Sonic's whole thing is that he breaks the sound barrier, but he's not going faster than light. So the rings are his way of getting from place to place and still being fast, which makes it really cool because the whole thing about it is it's like you can't expect his world, like his actual alien world, to have paths for him to run really fast around. So how do you get from place to place? He uses the rings. And I think that's really cool because then it's like it sets up this mechanic of like, oh, we need to attract him. How do you attract him? We'll steal his rings. He can't teleport with them, or he can't teleport without them, and then it just sets up this whole thing where it's like, okay, well, if we can't catch him, we'll use his technology, and it creates this dynamic that I think would be really cool, because then Sonic freaks out, and it's like, well, if they use the rings, then who knows what they'll be able to do? They could steal from banks, and it's a reference back to what he did with the jewelry store. It was like, wait, didn't you steal from a jewelry store? Yeah, but that was different.
I use it for good.
Yeah.
I want to see Sonic break a device that has a bunch of squirrels in it made by...
I think that's too many references.
That'd be funny
He
to me.
like knocks over a cage and these like animals run out.
He walks in Central Park and he sees a squirrel and he goes, "Come here," because I don't know. Can he talk to animals?
I don't know. I don't want to know. I don't want to see that.
That would be hilarious.
I honestly don't. But the thing about that is like, because for you, like you'd enjoy it because you love animals, like because that's who you are.
Yeah, that's
You're
who
the
I
type of
am.
person to do that. For me, I don't like animals, so to see him take time out of the movie to just be like, "Oh, hey, little buddy, what world are you from? How did you get here?" And da-da-da, like that's funny. But if he's like trying to play with the squirrel and it's like, "Come here, eat this," it's like, leave the stupid animal alone. Continue the movie.
It's 5 minutes of the movie that
You
is
are
totally unneeded, but it's needed.
I mean, there could be a scene where he's like, where they're launching an attack on Robotnik's lab or something, and he frees all the test animals. Or
I think it would be hilarious. It would be adorably cute and hilarious if he's like, "Go, my friends," and you see a bunch of squirrels just like running. Squirrels and bunnies.
Now
and
it's time to pay it back.
Yeah. And then just make it. And the thing about it is because the Sonics don't just look different; they sound different.
Is it a different VA?
No. I'm saying, well, no, I don't think it is. It could be. I didn't look into that because I didn't really care that much
Power
for that.
technology.
But it's just the way that they act. Because the first one, it wasn't that he was funny for the sake of being funny. It was more like what he was doing was funny, and he was just being serious within it. So, like in the first trailer, he didn't stop all the missiles, but he was going so fast that basically it looked like the missiles had stopped, and he went around and he was banging them like drums and hitting them and blowing them up and stuff like that. He wasn't being funny about it. The thing with Sonic is he's very quippy, like Spider-Man. So with the new trailer, that's what happens. And I kind of wanted to see how the new Sonic would act with the missile situation happening. But the thing is, I feel like they may have changed the narrative, which means that scene doesn't exist anymore. And if it does...
Well, they cut out the trailer at least.
Yeah. So...
It'd
be interesting. Honestly, it's kind of weird because it's like, if you wanted to just redesign Sonic, then why didn't you just do the same trailer but with a redesign? Because if you look at Warner Brothers, if you look at their page, they completely erase the old trailer.
They added the thing where he hits the car with this spinning ball thing.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, "How are you even still alive?" And he's just like, "I don't know."
Yeah, and the thing that's cool about that too is that it doesn't just look good; it sounds good. There are sound references to the game now.
Like, no, that sound they use when he does that is the same sound.
Yeah.
From the game.
So it was just like that's really, and same thing with the ring, where he would throw the ring out to teleport. It made the ring sound. So I was like,
oh, yeah.
good, you're paying attention to the sound.
It's detail.
That's great.
Detail is what we want out of this.
Yeah. And with all that being said, it comes down to this question, and we kind of glossed over it, but it's like genuinely thinking about it now. Would you watch this movie? And for me, it's like, yes.
Yeah.
They added a lot to the trailer to convince me that it's worth seeing, even if it's bad. Because let's talk about The Last Jedi for a second. People were like, this is a bad movie. I'm going to boycott Star Wars. I'm not going to watch it. And for me, I was like, okay, if it is a bad movie, I feel like as a fan of Star Wars, I can't talk bad about something without watching that thing.
And that's why I'm seeing it.
Are you talking about Rise of Skywalker or The Last Jedi?
No, The Last Jedi.
Last Jedi.
Because the thing is, for me, I watched The Last Jedi, and then I felt like it was okay for me to critique it, and it felt like it was okay for me to say things about it because I actually experienced
gave it a shot.
Yeah. Versus something like Solo that I haven't seen and I don't plan on seeing.
So good.
And I won't talk bad about it.
It's so good.
So, I mean, hey,
and
I'll recognize it as your opinion, but I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah.
Because I don't care.
Yeah.
But that's the thing.
Rogue One is better.
Yeah.
Rogue One is really good.
Rogue One's great.
Rogue One made me cry.
And so, but it's the same thing with Sonic, though. You know, I might not be a Sonic fan, but I'm a fan of gaming. Gaming is my culture. And so I can't talk bad about a gaming movie without watching the movie. That's why I don't talk bad about the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Because even though it's the first internationally released...
You've never seen it?
No, I've never seen it. Never plan on seeing it. And I'm not going to talk bad about it. Because the thing about it is, like, some people watch bad movies just so they can talk bad about the movie. For me, it's like, why would I want to talk bad about something? That's the past. I'll just learn from it. Don't do it. I mean, I don't have to watch the movie to see what they did wrong with it.
Literally everything about that movie.
Pretty much. Yeah. So, that's how I feel. But, I mean, what about you guys? Do you still kind of hold on to your same feeling about wanting to watch the movie, or did it kind of change?
Well, like I said at the beginning, I didn't want to see it at all because of my way about video games and movies. I do want to see it now, only because I did talk to Mess about it. And I want to pay respect to those that did the changes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even if that means dropping, $12 for an early movie, I will watch it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would pay. So I'd pay to watch it.
I probably would if people said, like, you in my family, if they say it's good.
Okay.
Because my older brother is also a Sonic fan. We played Sonic games together. So if he says it's good, then yeah, I'll probably watch it.
Okay.
I've always wanted to watch it. It was the character design that put me off.
Yeah.
Now that we've worked it and it feels more like Sonic.
Yeah.
I'm even more excited before than when they first announced it.
Cool. So yeah, for those of you who are watching on YouTube, you know, let us know in the comment section. Are you going to be watching the Sonic movie? Maybe we'll run into you when we go watch it. Or are you not going to watch the movie? Tell us how you feel and tell us why. We're very curious to see how y'all feel about the topics we talk about, and it's really nice to just get a discussion going. So that was cool. I feel a lot better now about the movie now that we've gotten a chance to talk about it, because honestly, the biggest problem I had wasn't that we are getting a Sonic movie. It was just the design was bad. And, you know,
As an artist, I mean, I bet that hurt you.
I mean,
it was when I was in my undergrad at San Jose State where we first got word that a Sonic movie was happening, like the whispers of a Sonic movie's coming out. And everyone was like, ooh, this isn't going to be good. And of course, there are some friends that I do have who are like really big Sonic fans, and they were like, it might not be good, but we're still going to watch it. We're going to give it a chance. And I'm like, must be nice. Must be nice to be that dedicated to something. And then I realized I did the same thing with Star Wars, and I was like, all right, stop being a hypocrite. But I remember when the poster came out before anything else.
And it teases
and
legs.
it's
You're
yeah.
like,
And you want to see how people can break down something as simple as a poster and turn it into an hour-long conversation. Be surrounded by a bunch of animation majors and graphic design majors and show them a poster that's bad and watch them tear that thing down. And like, because there were artists who, just from the legs alone, already predicted what the character was going to look like before they showed us the character. And I was like, I hope you're wrong, but if you're right, Good job. You're really cool.
Human teeth.
Oh gosh, yeah.
The separate eyes.
Yeah, it was a part of the original thumbnail.
And how small they were in part.
Yeah. When I was making the original thumbnail for this, I was just like, I kept looking at the design and I was like, I don't want to put that on here. I'll put the poster design because at least it was more obscure and we know what it is. But I was like, if I have to look at those teeth ever again, I will destroy this entire channel. But yeah, so, movies, video games, we talked about Sonic a lot, but it's not the only video game movie that ever came out, and it will not be the last video game movie to come out.
There are a couple already planned ahead.
Yeah, so we already know that there are more movies coming. There are movies that are in the past. Some are good, some are not so good. Some are even considered the worst films of all time. And so I kind of want to transition into us talking about video game movies as a whole. And this might not be as big and as controversial as the Sonic topic, but it's still something I want to talk about because the Sonic movie kind of brought up a really big question that I'll ask later to all of us. But the very first question that I want to ask is, what are your thoughts on video game movies as a whole? And when I say video game movies, I don't mean like animated films. I'm talking like the live action adaptations of video games. So, what are your thoughts on them? And I want to start with Francis.
I mean, yeah, I know I'm generally
Mood for everything.
yeah, basically. I know I'm like that for a lot of things, but it's because personally I am more of a gamer.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to things like that, first of all, I'd rather experience it one way over the other. So let's say if I already experienced it as a game, I probably won't watch it as a movie.
Yeah.
Or maybe I will just for friends. But if I see it in a movie first, then that's a different story.
Mm-hmm.
If the movie looked good, then I'll probably play it as a game.
Yeah.
No, that's a form of marketing,
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, John?
I've never really been a fan. I've said that before. I've never been a fan of video game movies because I always feel like they did the video game wrong.
Yeah.
And because the video game is always the thing I play. And then when I hear there's a movie coming out about that video game because the hype is so strong, they bomb the video game and then that ruins the record of the game itself and people stop playing it because the movie was so bad. And that just sort of, I feel like it really does it wrong. There have been I have watched video game movies, so I'm not saying that just because I hate them, they make video games bad and everything like that. It's not. My brother and I, we both experienced video game movies. We've tried to enjoy them, but they just overall cringiness is just there. We're like, okay, this is not the right thing. This is not something I would have done in the game. Yeah, and playing as that player or character or something like that. And we've always enjoyed a separate lore, like say. Probably inching too far into our schedule here, but when they were doing like Halo, like a Halo version, it was an offshoot of it was a different mission from what you're using. Forward Unto Dawn. Yes, it was an offshoot of a different kind of mission or era. You never saw that part, so that was totally okay because it was something different. Yeah. But live action would be Forward Unto Dawn. That would be my only good one so far. I know they're coming out with a lot more game movies coming out, and I'm curious, only because I know they're doing a Monster Hunter one. Yeah. That is going to probably have a lot. Yeah, they are. Don't look at me like that, Francis. Yeah, I'm dead serious. They have announced
As a player of Monster Hunter, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah. You're already skeptical and you haven't seen pictures. All right. But and that's what I mean is that I feel like they're going to do the video game wrong. Yeah. Just by posting a movie. So those are my thoughts on video game movies.
Please don't ruin it.
What about you, Santi?
I'm a little more open to them because the way I look at it as not only as a form of marketing for the video game itself, it's also an opportunity to explore a different side of the video game that we ourselves couldn't see as the player. Like instead of like focusing on like the main character in the video game, they can expand on the lore in different ways or focus more on the other side characters that we like, but we don't get to experience their perspective.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay.
And then like another thing that they can do differently, it's a new take, it's a new interpretation of the narrative of the video game. Like the Assassin's Creed movie, not great. I
Mhm.
enjoyed it,
No.
but not great. One thing I like that they did though was the animus,
Mm-hmm.
and it made the bleeding effect from the games make more sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was one thing that was a little touch they did that I appreciated.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm kind of along the same line as Santi, where I'm okay with the concept of live action video and even animated video game adaptations into movies, as long as, for me personally, it shouldn't have a focus on our main character that we know from the game. And with that, I think Assassin's Creed was a good example of that, where this guy had no connection to Desmond or any of his ancestors or anything like that. He was, you know, his own self. Yeah, his family had their own ties to the Assassin Order. And yeah, it wasn't the best movie. It wasn't even a great movie. But I did enjoy it. And I actually kind of want to go back and watch it because once upon a time, Assassin's Creed was one of my favorite game franchises of all time.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was like...
Brotherhood is still top shelf.
Yeah. And so for me, it was like, for it to be live action in Assassin's Creed, I was like, awesome. The thing about it, though, was it was like, you didn't do the one thing in an Assassin's Creed movie you should have done. Because it's like, if you're going to do a movie about the things the fans are asking for that you're not going to do in the game. And for Assassin's Creed, that was, give us modern day assassins.
Yeah.
Like, what would assassins look like in the modern day? Because we got a taste of that in Assassin's Creed 3 and with the games that followed after that. But it's like, no. We're talking like a full-on experience of you are an assassin in the modern day. And Watch Dogs is kind of like that. And there's a theory about Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed being connected. But I'm talking like, if you're going to do an Assassin's Creed movie, have the entire movie be that, where it's like...
they confirmed it.
That they were? That, I mean,
One of the
developer...
One of the guys, they confirmed it, because one of the guys that goes missing as one of the Assassin's Creed games is one of the guys you
Syndicate,
kill
I
in
believe.
Watch Dogs.
Yeah, but that could easily be like an Easter egg or reference
What?
that they do.
Conspiracy.
I'd like to say that it's confirmed. I agree
They
with
also
that.
paid Matt Pat to do that theory.
That's true.
I gotta play this game.
Yeah, just
that guy.
Yeah, just look it up.
Yeah.
But that's the
Watch
thing is,
Dogs logo.
Oh, you're right.
It has some resemblance.
Oh.
it can. Yeah, I mean,
At the very least, they're in the same world.
they're in the same kind of world. Yeah,
We
But the
gotta
thing
have
about
a
it is,
theory.
but here's the thing: it's expanding a narrative outside of using the main character of that narrative.
Yeah.
And that's what I think movies should be the same way, where it should be an expansion, or at least should be a what if in anything. Because if it's live action, we know that it's not our characters. So give us a what if scenario. And so for me, that's why it's like, I think it'd be a great way to add on to the game,
Mhm.
but it shouldn't be something that's pushing the game.
Yeah, it shouldn't be detrimental to the video game that we're used to.
They shouldn't be trying to rehash the storyline of something we've
Exactly.
already played.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because a movie
shots.
A movie is
Forward
something you
onto
can
dawn.
experience, but video games are something you experience and interact with.
Yeah.
And that's something a movie can never top.
Yeah.
So that's why the movie should be an expansion of that universe, or like, well, I'm saying a what if.
Yeah. And you know, it's funny, when I was a kid with my older brother, we used to watch Red versus Blue YouTube videos and stuff like that, and they did really good animated like lore for Master Chiefs.
Yeah.
And it was like,
Or for Spartans.
or for Spartans, yeah. And it was like, what? That's a great idea, because you're not following the main character,
Mhm.
you're doing your own thing, and you have your own main characters and main storyline, but you're offshooting.
And they also
From
made
the original.
like slide jokes and references to
the
what
game,
yeah.
Master Chief was doing.
Exactly, and that was
Precisely.
that was the cool part, and
Yeah.
I do agree with you guys on that. They should do offshoots.
Mhm.
They shouldn't follow the storyline we've played.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm curious about the Sonic movie, because they did, I feel like, do sort of an offshoot in the trailer.
Yeah.
And that was the cool part, was
Mhm.
we saw the game that we played, and then they changed it up.
Yeah. Because it feels like it's Sonic the Hedgehog in a movie and not Sonic the movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why I was curious more
Yeah.
about it now.
And I feel like
so.
you could do that with something like Sonic, but I'm thinking back to probably one of my favorite, video game movie adaptations. And I'm thinking of like Mortal Kombat.
Oh.
Not Annihilation, but we're talking the first Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat.
Oh,
The good
yeah.
one.
The
The good one.
I mean, hey, there's only like the two. For now,
Flip
yeah.
a coin, you're bound to land
Yeah.
on one of them.
Which is funny because you think about like international films that were released that are video game in adaptations to film, and those two movies are back to back.
That's
Like
true.
no video game movie came out between them, so it's just like, why? What were you trying to rush? But the thing about it is, you think about Mortal Kombat, you can't really do that side narrative stuff with Mortal Kombat, because we do have like secondary and tertiary characters, but doing a movie around them probably not gonna do you any good.
The appeal of Mortal Kombat is all the crazy stuff that's happening.
Precisely, and I mean, you could do that with like the modern technology, but it's like Mortal Kombat has a pretty simple premise. You know, it's a contest to conquer realms,
A contest of champions,
if you will.
So if you'd like to join the Gauntlet of Gaming and take over some 2 empty slots.
Wow.
But anyways, that's the
Shoot
thing.
for 2 on the cheesy jokes.
Oh, God. But that's the thing, though, is it's like with the kind of the context that you and I are looking for, Santi, that eliminates a lot of video games. But for me, it's like I think I'm okay with that because the fact that it's like not every video game needs to have a movie. Yeah. Not every video game needs a movie, and that kind of goes to the thing is because we're talking about. Not every game needs a movie, but sometimes some video games do get a movie and they're not all bad. And I kind of want to ask you guys, out of the video game movies you've seen, which one's your favorite? And the thing is, I want to emphasize the one that you've seen because I don't want us to talk about video game movies that are like well received because it's like, sure, anyone can say that a movie is well received and you'll like it. Everyone loves the original trilogy of Star Wars, but my favorite Star Wars movie is Episode 3. So, out of the ones you've seen, which one's your favorite? And I kind of want to start with you, Santi.
Gosh.
On the spot, man.
On the spot. I had it in my head, and I didn't think you were going to start with me. And now it's gone.
Well, we can always go to John and Francis.
Come back.
Go ahead,
Me
Francis.
first. Okay, I had 3 options.
Yeah.
First was the Mortal Kombat, the one that you said.
Yeah,
let's
the
go.
first one.
Good.
They had iconic characters.
Yeah.
Doom.
Really?
Really?
I thought it was okay. It wasn't bad.
We could talk about Doom.
It wasn't bad, but it was okay. And then Resident Evil.
The first one? Or like pretty much just the series?
Yeah, the series.
Okay. Alright.
See, yeah.
I can see that.
I'm leaning on Resident Evil
so what's,
way too hard.
Wait, hold on. What's with Doom?
Well,
I'm out of the loop.
We'll get there.
Doom.
I mean, it was just entertaining to watch.
I mean, I'll say for Doom, as a movie, it did the thing that I basically... So, does anyone remember the movie Hardcore Henry?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the thing with Hardcore Henry, when I saw the trailers for it, I was like, this is what the entire Doom movie should have been.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, because you think about the
gun in front of you.
Yeah, the gun in front, and it's like...
It should be
have been an experience.
It should be a first-person experience.
Yeah, it should have been an experience where it's just like, all right, soldier, like, because what film has done that? Like, we see it with VR. VR does like the experience. You can do this game experience, and it's like, but have we ever watched an entire film where that's the case? I think Hardcore Henry was the closest to that.
I watched Hardcore Henry for the first time on TV the other day, and I lost my mind. I was just like, oh my gosh, what am I playing right now? And I looked at my phone. I'm like, I'm not playing this.
Yeah, I haven't. Neither of us have seen it. You and Santi, or me and Santi. But the thing about it is, I want to.
It is brutal.
It is.
Oh my gosh.
I bet.
I've never seen anybody's face kicked in until I saw that movie, and I was like, what in the world?
Yeah.
And it was like midnight when I couldn't stop. Like I was like, why am I watching this? And I'm drawn into it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'm going to continue to watch it. Commercial. I was like, I need to leave this room for 5 solid seconds.
And that's the thing. And that's why Doom is kind of like because they literally did a segment in Doom where it was first-person shooter. And I remember I was like watching this movie and I was just like, oh my god! I was like, this is actually happening. Buckle up, boys. Fire the alarms. They're actually doing it. But it was only a segment and it wasn't the entire movie. And so I was just like, that kind of takes away from the feeling, though. So that's why I was off-put.
Yeah, because I thought it was satisfying enough during the time.
Yeah.
Resident Evil, though. Oh boy, that's a series.
Is that what you're saying you like?
Yeah, I loved the Resident Evil series.
Okay.
And it was awesome because it didn't touch on any of the characters that I played on as the game, and I enjoyed that. Well, okay. But the way Umbrella was portrayed though, was super interesting to me.
Okay.
In the movies, and it was quite interesting to see a different town getting ransacked all the time, and focusing around the one character and stuff, and how she handled it was really cool. and then figuring out all that hullabaloo at the end, which
Yeah.
was like, really? But it was still a good zombie movie because it reminded me of the zombie game.
Gotcha.
And that's why I like the Resident Evil series. Plus, you know, I did like Forward Unto Dawn. That was a good one. Because I was a huge Halo player.
I'm wondering, because I don't think they recognize Until Dawn as like a
It's not.
film.
It's
It's
not.
more just like a short series.
It's a short series.
Which is why you kind of threw me off, because I was gonna say Forward Unto Dawn, but I was like, wait a minute, that's not.
It's not really a film.
Well,
Even if you put them all together, it's still only like not even 30 minutes.
Yeah, but still, I mean,
I enjoyed it nonetheless.
it's still recognized as live action media of video games.
And that was it's always cool to see some guy in a full powered bodysuit that we all want someday in our life, just like kicking someone's face, and
hardcore Henry
reloading
with
an
Master Chief.
assault rifle, and then hearing that noise.
Oh my gosh, hardcore Henry with Master Chief. That'd be so good.
Hardcore Henry with John Wick.
No.
Come on.
No, it takes away from
Hardcore
it
Henry.
takes away the experience of
with
seeing
John
him
Wick.
do
I
stuff.
like seeing Keanu Reeves doing those
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, I get it.
Because the thing for me is, it's like, it's not that I like seeing Master Chief as it is more I like being Master Chief.
Hardcore Henry was Hardcore Henry, and it reminded me way too much of everything going on.
And you know what?
And the scene shots of everything was amazing.
Oh, I bet.
Seeing a man burned alive coming out of a bus on fire, thank you. Why did I need it in my life? I don't know.
Oh,
but
we're so getting demonetized for this.
I'm probably gonna get like locked away in a pillowcased room here in a minute. But it was a interesting movie, a movie I didn't think I needed to see.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I accidentally strolled upon it when I was scrolling through midnight television.
Yeah.
So, and that was on TV.
True.
A guy burning on fire coming out of a bus was on
it's not
TV.
the worst thing you see on
It's
TV.
not. Yeah, I mean, the news is the worst.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Who puts that many sad things about puppies? Let's be honest.
Oh gosh. But anyways, so you brought up Resident Evil. Both of you brought up Resident Evil, and I feel like the first maybe 2 movies, I was like, okay, this is pretty cool.
Those are the only ones I enjoyed.
I would say they were favorites.
Revelations?
Like,
nope.
It was cool. And then the series kind of trickled on, and I was just like, okay, this not working for me. So then when I go back and watch the original, like the very first Resident Evil movie, I think had a really cool scene, and that's the thing.
Was that Underworld?
Huh?
Is that Underworld?
No, Underworld's a completely different series.
What was
That's
it?
a
No,
series.
what was
just
the name
Resident
of the first
Evil.
Resident Evil?
No, it was just Resident Evil.
Okay.
Yeah, the one that came out in 2002. And the thing with that movie, and with a lot of the video game movies that I think we like, is that it had a scene that I really appreciated. And in the first Resident Evil, it was the laser room with I believe it was the Red Queen. With the girl, and it was just that hallway of the lasers. Never before have I watched something and was just like, why isn't this in the games?
That'd be too hard, man.
No, I mean, it would have been fun though.
A Metal Gear Solid scene in a
Metal.
Resident
I mean,
Evil game.
If Metal Gear can do it,
With Resident Evil mechanics, that'd be.
You're right.
That would be
horrible.
difficult,
It would be
man.
very difficult.
I would trip every sensor known to man.
See, and that's the thing. And that's what made watching that scene.
I would go to the next room.
Yeah, that's what made watching that scene so interesting, because the fact that it's like they felt like humans, so it made the game feel a lot more human.
Yeah.
Because it's just like only the people who were doing superhuman feats of like hanging from above and jumping over the laser, it was just like, now you're not human, and I'll give you that. It's whatever.
A game where you have to stop to shoot throwing lasers at you.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So, but again, it's like, those were scenes. And I think, because Santi, I think you're probably still collecting your thoughts, right?
No, I'm good now.
You're good? So I'll let you do yours before I go into mine.
I'm really curious about Santi.
Because I want to, I kind of, there's this thing about like, the video game movies have scenes, that one scene or a couple scenes that are good. And for me, it's like, I can't hang on that. And that's kind of what stopped me from liking the later Resident Evil movies, because they showed my boy. They showed Wesker. And I was like, they pulled the Wesker card.
He was a big umbrella character,
Yeah.
and that was important.
I was like, he pulled the Wesker
also-
card. But the thing about it is, the only moment with Wesker that I actually appreciated in the entire series was the fight that they had in his, like, office. And even then, it was just like, all right, so it's Wesker. okay.
Now what?
Yeah. It's like,
Okay. Don't do my
But
man
before I go
bad.
into my films, Santi, what would you say was your favorite?
Okay, I'm gonna start off by saying I've never seen any of the Resident Evil movies. I haven't played the games, and I don't care about Resident Evil.
Santi,
Yeah,
you're
it'd
gonna
be
hang
like
out at
that.
my house for a good solid 24 hours one day, and we'll get you caught up.
Don't worry about it. You're not missing
Resident
out.
Evil 4 is like
I've not. It's just-
4, and then go to 5.
I tried playing a
and
Resident
then
Evil game, but I was just like, it's not for me.
5 was my first game.
So, but moving on. Honestly, I think as of right now, my favorite video game movie is probably Assassin's Creed.
Really?
Yes, just because I appreciated the subtle nods to the video games.
Yeah.
And what they did with the Animus, and just them saying the Assassin's Creed, the actual Assassin's Creed in the movie. I was like, yes, this is everything I've ever wanted. That's all I wanted out of an Assassin's Creed movie was them to say the thing.
I've never watched it.
I'd say give it a chance.
Give it a chance.
I'd say give it a chance.
Like, it's not amazing, but
Yeah.
like it's
Okay.
enjoyable.
You're not gonna watch it a second time. You may watch it a second time, but it's not. You're not gonna write home to your mom and your brother saying this is the greatest movie of all
I
time.
would go back and watch it a second time just to catch more of the references to the games.
Yeah, that's probably why the only reason I
Okay.
watched Weekend.
But like, I'm assuming it's gonna be replaced pretty quickly with the new Sonic movie.
you think that's gonna be your new favorite?
Yeah.
Interesting.
What about Detective Pikachu? That's the one thing I haven't noticed from any of you. Like, no one's brought up Detective Pikachu.
I've never watched it.
Okay, there you go. Fair enough.
I said that at the beginning of this.
I really like Pikachu.
Yeah.
But as seeing as how the only Pokemon game I've ever played is Diamond.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't say I grew up with Pokemon. I grew up around Pokemon.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
And by the time I got my hands on Diamond, I was already like in middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when it came out for everybody. All of us here.
That's fair. Okay.
And
I
whereas
can respect
where
it.
Assassin's Creed was something that
It was a
came
part
out,
of your life.
it was something I like followed. Like I loved up until
1, 2,
Three.
3.
Yeah.
like
I mean,
1,
same.
2, Brotherhood, even Revelations.
Yeah.
Revelations was so good.
It was the same thing for me because it's like I'll never forget the very first rated M game that I was allowed to buy myself was Assassin's Creed, the very first one. My mom can attest to it. I never shut up about how it's like, yeah, remember how you let me get Assassin's Creed before I was 17? She's like, shh, shut up. Don't tell your brothers.
Like people love Ezio, but my boy Altair.
Right?
It's all about Ezio.
Represent.
And that's why it's like, yeah, Assassin's Creed, I had to watch it because it was the same thing where Assassin's Creed played a very pivotal, it was a pivotal changing point in my maturity as a gamer. And that's why I give it the respect. It's kind of like with the Mafia, you give respect to the Dawn. Like Assassin's Creed as a movie, I give it respect as the Dawn because it's, as a franchise, changed me and changed my maturity with gaming. But unfortunately, it was quickly overtaken by Mass Effect, and it became my new favorite
Mass
series.
Effect.
So that happened. But for me, there's kind of 3 movies that I like, and granted, it's like, well, you said like the only good ones, and it's like, it'd be like that sometimes. Of course, Mortal Kombat.
Oh,
Like-
it was good.
Like
I liked it.
the Mortal Kombat theme that we know, a lot of people think the game is where it
No,
came
that's
from.
from-
No,
no,
it came from the movies.
movie.
Yeah. So the original Mortal Kombat theme song by the Immortals came from the
That was
movies.
great.
And it's just like yeah, exactly. Yeah. In fact, I don't even
I
think
have that song.
I have it on
Um,
my Spotify too.
I don't think the song was played as much in the first movie as it was in Annihilation, but I think Annihilation used it only because they knew they were in a bad situation.
Oh yeah.
And they figured if we play the theme song, they'll sing along and forget what they're watching.
They'll get caught up by the hype.
Yeah, which kind of did happen. They had Ermac in the second one, and I was like, "Ooh, they have Ermac." Okay, maybe it's not that. No, it's that bad. I was like, it's actually that bad. But no, the
Look
first
behind Ermac, and it's the movie.
Well, Ermac wasn't the worst part. It was Reptile and Animalities. So
Reptile.
we're not going to talk about Annihilation.
All right, next
Yet. Yet. But no, the first one, I really loved it. And it came out after the second movie that I really like, and that's Street Fighter. Like, the Street Fighter movie is very controversial. Some people like it, some people don't like it, some people hate it. For me, I really liked it. Even though not all the characters looked, on model, but it was still like, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen.
This is news to me. I've never heard of a Street Fighter movie.
Yeah, and I mean Street Fighter
Here
has
I'm
a lot
sitting
of
going,
And there's
what?
a reason why you don't.
yeah, Street Fighter has a lot of animated movies, but the thing about you know how Double Dragon is so 80s?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the Street Fighter movie felt like.
Oh.
The Street Fighter movie felt very 80s.
Now I have to watch it.
What I really liked was like it was a fan made series on YouTube of Street Fighter, but it was really well done.
I mean, you could say the same thing about Mortal Kombat. There was the Machinima Mortal Kombat live action that happened, and it was also, in my opinion, really well
I didn't
done.
know that.
Yeah, you should check it out. It was pretty good. But no, the thing for me with
I'm adding so much to my list right now. It's not even
right,
funny, guys.
that's the point of the discussion. But no, with the Street Fighter movie though, like I quoted this before, and I'll quote it again. But one of the greatest lines, and it came from M. Bison, who was played so well in that movie, and it was, "For you, the day that Bison graced your village was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday." And I'm just like, this is the most mad lad line.
Just flexing with sheer words.
Exactly. Like, I've never seen Chun-Li so broken before, just by words. And it's like, for me as a teacher, like, one of these days I'll just go to my students and it's like, "For you, the day that Mr. Williams gave you this grade, it was the worst day of your life. But for me, it was Friday."
It was the day I issued the grade.
Because it's just like, it was the one thing in the film that felt so video gamey. Like, it felt like it, because, you know, at the end of a video game fight, the characters always have, like, that line where it's like, "Haha, you thought you could beat me, but I'm the best." And for me, it was just like, the dude gave us a victory line before he won.
Just the flex.
Yeah, I was like, how you not gonna appreciate a flex like that?
It was one after that line.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Are you approaching me?
Yeah, see, well, that's JoJo. That's different. But for me,
What was
so
the
those
third?
two,
What was the third?
the third, and this is super controversial because a lot of people don't.
I'm
like
about to
this
throw
one.
my chair at you.
I liked the Hitman movie.
Oh, I never saw it, but I heard it was good.
The first
I never saw
Hitman,
that.
not Hitman Agent 47,
Yeah.
but the first hit. I know,
I remember seeing that
I
commercial.
know,
Oh,
I know. But I think it
I
was
heard
the
it-
original
I
Hitman
heard
movie.
it was good.
I think it was the
actually.
original
No,
Hitman
no,
movie that.
Agent 47 was good.
Oh,
The first one that came out was just Hitman,
Yeah,
okay.
just Hitman.
Just like the game, huh?
and it was hot garbage.
I never
Hot
watched.
garbage.
I never watched Agent 47. I should go back and watch it just because of it. Because the thing is, we talk about a lot of games that we like and things like that. And one game that I think a lot of people will not know that I really enjoy is the Hitman series. I don't talk about it as often, and I don't really think
you
I will.
basically never talk about it.
I don't, and it's weird because it's
Yeah,
one of those.
I'm learning so much about Malik right now.
Yeah, 'cause it's one of those games that I play I play it for me.
It's like a
Like,
guilty pleasure.
yeah, because you don't play Hitman with people, and the only time I
Yeah,
played
pretty
Hitman
much.
where people were present, it was with my residents when I was at San Jose State, where I was like, "Hey, watch me kill this guy in a funny way. I'm gonna throw a briefcase and
Watch
dead."
me kill this guy dressed as a mascot.
Yeah, or dressed as a clown. Yeah, and so it was like, you know, you'll never see me playing the game because it's my own thing. Oh gosh. But when the movie came out, you know, for me, and the movie came out when I was younger, so of course it felt more awesome watching it. But it was just like, yeah, he's an agent.
Yeah.
I like this.
He killed.
He's still that guy's outfit.
Yeah, and then I think, was it
He's in
Salt?
that suit.
I think Salt was like
Oh,
the female
Salt.
spy movie.
Yeah.
And I remember I
Oh, yeah.
watched Salt and I was just like, I don't appreciate how they stole from my boy Agent 47, but I'll still watch this movie. So it's like that, it's kind of that espionage, because I'm not a James Bond fan.
It's a shame.
So I'm not a big fan of like that
It's alright.
espionage type of stuff. But when it comes to like espionage and assassination, Hitman is where it's at for me. And it's like, it's bad, but it's my favorite. So that's where I stand on that.
I mean, I can't talk Assassin's Creed is my current favorite.
It'd be like that sometimes. So we talked about our favorites. Now we get to bash. Let's talk about our least favorite.
Tomb Raider.
And Tomb Raider,
Not the one that
What?
just came out recently.
How are
The
you
Laura-
doing
the-
that? No.
the Angelina Jolie
The
one.
Angelina Jolie ones.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
hate
Okay.
those movies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were more about Angelina Jolie than they were about Tomb Raider.
Yeah, I pretty much hate the Angelina Jolie movies.
But
I haven't
the
seen the most
recent one
one.
was so
I heard
good.
that was actually pretty good. I haven't seen it.
I loved
intend
it,
to
and I would
at some
watch it
point.
again.
I
didn't
mean,
see that one.
I haven't seen it either, so I'm not going to speak on behalf of that. But
I would
as
watch
far as the
I
Angelina
hear-
Jolie
I hear it
ones,
was good.
I would watch the
Especially
new
the
one
third
again.
one. Like,
Yeah,
it was
the
like
third-
the
yeah.
cradles, something cradle.
Yeah, Cradle, yeah.
I hated it so much.
Yeah, she didn't do Tomb Raider right.
It's not that
You know.
she...
It wasn't her, it
The
was
Cradle
the-
of Life, that's what it was.
Cradle Life. It
Um,
wasn't that Angelina Jolie portrayed Tomb Raider, right? It was the way that it was directed and written.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because the thing for me is it was, you know, they had the Tomb Raider game. Is it the game first and then the movie? So was it the first Tomb Raider and then the first Tomb Raider movie? Or was it the other way around?
I don't remember.
I think it had to be video game first because it's considered a video game adaptation.
Yeah.
So I think the game came first, and then it was Angelina Jolie, and I think the problem came because of that first movie, where the quality of the games reflected the quality of the movie.
That's true.
So when your games were getting worse, your movies were only going to get worse too. So that's kind of how I felt.
And rather than, I guess, the way she was portrayed in those games was she was like basically superhuman.
Yeah.
Whereas opposed to for the new ones, she feels actually very vulnerable most of the time.
Yeah. And the same can be reflected.
And it feels like you're actually trying to survive.
Yeah. So I really appreciate that they were going with. I mean, granted, I haven't seen the new Tomb Raider movie either, and to be honest, I'm not going to watch it because I don't enjoy the Tomb Raider franchise like that. It was something I played as a kid because it was on the PlayStation, but hey, if it's doing good, I hope the fan base is enjoying it. But
I really enjoyed the Tomb Raider Rebuild game, the one that came out on Xbox.
John, what's your least favorite?
Ooh, I really didn't like the Assassin's Creed movie.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
No. Then again,
I can't blame you for that.
I never really liked video games being in movies.
Yeah,
and I've said this the entire
The only
chat.
reason why I even enjoyed Assassin's Creed is because I played Assassin's Creed and I was a pretty big Assassin's Creed fan at the time.
I watched my brother play Assassin's Creed. I never played.
It's a totally different experience.
I'd never played the first two games. I played the third game, which was Brotherhood.
You gotta play the second one.
You
have to play the second one.
Yeah, I watched the second, and that was my downfall. And,
yeah.
I really didn't like watching not my brother play the game.
Yeah.
I didn't like watching Magneto play a character I knew nothing about. So
that's understandable.
That's my take on it.
I can't blame you.
Yeah, I know you're on the other side of the room, but I'm just a stone throw away.
What about you, Francis?
Or a chunk of us throw away.
Oh, you put that down, sir.
Rampage.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never watched it.
Yeah, don't.
I mean,
don't. No? I should have. I'm with you there. I should have trusted my instincts when I saw The Rock was gonna be in a Rampage, because I heard Rampage and I was like, I'm gonna watch this.
Yeah, that's what my dad.
Biggest regret.
I haven't seen it either.
That's when the gorilla goes big, right?
Yeah.
My dad put it on, and I came out to him watching it for a few minutes. So I stayed for a few minutes. I was like, "Oh, this is more focused on The Rock than it is with the giant animals." Okay, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how most Godzilla movies are.
No, it's how most The Rock movies are.
Oh, true.
Yeah. So that's
Jumanji.
I mean, San Andreas was a good example of why I shouldn't have watched Rampage.
I mean, basically, in that movie, I thought it should have at least been like, wild giant animal running around.
Yeah.
Or at least something kind of like Godzilla, where he fights other monsters.
Yeah.
And you ever played the old arcade game, Rampage?
I did.
Yeah, dude, what the heck? That is a rampage. You are fighting the other players and everybody else.
And that's why it's a disappointing movie.
That's why I liked Rampage, the arcade game.
Yeah, it's fun to play.
It's fun to play. But I guess the movie didn't do too well in your opinion.
If I didn't know anything about Rampage, I guess it'd be okay.
Okay. Alright.
But I know Rampage.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what makes it hurt even more.
I played a lot of Rampage growing up.
Yeah.
It was a fun
Rampage was great.
And it's that feeling of knowing something that makes the pain feel worse, which is why my two least favorites of the first, of course, being Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Because it's just like, what are you doing? And why? Granted, it's like, with the technology you have at the time, things are going to look jarring, especially now. But it's like back then, granted, I didn't watch it when it first came out because I don't even think I was alive when it first came out.
But
actually, no, I was alive when it first came out, but I was not even more than a year old. So it was just like, this movie came out in 97. Yeah. And so the thing for me is it was just like when I finally did get around to watching the movie, because everyone, I was like, I'm going to watch the Mortal Kombat movies. And they're like, don't watch Annihilation. It's terrible. I'm like, it can't be that bad.
It was.
And next you hear the ambulance sirens flying by, and it's like, oh wow, someone got hurt. That feels bad. I start the movie, next I'm in an ambulance. Because that was, oh gosh, that was a sickening experience. It was very hard. And it's like, most of the time bad movies have a good start and a terrible ending. No, even the start to the movie was so bad that if it was a movie theater and I was the person who walked into that movie theater, I would have stood up, walked out, and I would have demanded a refund because the way it started already, you know, it's going to be a bad experience. So it was that one for
Please,
me.
do tell, describe it for us.
No,
He doesn't.
we'll watch it together.
Stop being evil.
No, we'll watch it together. So if
No,
we're gonna have a
I'm
game
not.
night where we're playing Mortal Kombat 11, we're gonna watch the movie first, and then we're gonna play.
I don't think Francis
Stream
is
it.
ready.
Stream it.
I don't
To
think Francis
describe
is ready to get
to
beaten
describe
by
Mortal
me
Kombat
again.
Annihilation,
Oh.
Yeah.
I downloaded Excel.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Nice. Sorry,
Did
go
you-
on.
which is like if you want to watch a Mortal Kombat movie, just watch the story mode. Just watch the story mode. Because to describe Mortal Kombat Annihilation as a movie in words, as best as possible.
It's one word. Ouch.
No, see, because
Not
ouch,
even a word.
ouch is just pain.
Yeah.
To describe Mortal Kombat Annihilation,
Ugh.
it's kind of like raising a pet and giving the pet a name, and then finding out that that same pet died from you by accident. Like you accidentally sat on your pet. That's what it felt like.
That's an image.
Yeah,
Thanks, man.
that's a feeling. That's what.
I'm sad now.
There you go. That's what
I
Annihilation
didn't mean
was.
to do the
because-
discrepancy.
Because the thing is, Annihilation it didn't make me mad. It made me sad. Because it made me question, like, should I even be a Mortal Kombat fan? That's what it did to me. Because I don't know if you guys played the Mortal Kombat games between Mortal Kombat 3 and Mortal Kombat 9,
Yep.
or even Armageddon.
Yep.
Like, if you played the games between 3 and Armageddon, then you understand that Annihilation isn't where that feeling ended. The
Nope.
games carried that over.
That's
Kind of
true.
like how we were talking about Lara Croft. The game started to reflect the quality of what the movies were reflecting. And it was hard. Because very few movies make me question my life choices. That movie made me question my decision
Should
to
I
be
be
a fighting game
I
fan.
was about to say, should I be a fighting game fan?
It was not
Malik's
even that.
conscience.
It was just like, should I be a gaming fan?
Tried to
because
find it as I did.
For me, it's like, if this is the amount of quality of film, because there have been classic banger films before video game films were a thing. And people say, oh, I'm a fan of Casablanca. And it's like, oh, I see, a man of culture. And it's like, yeah, I watched Mortal Kombat Annihilation. And it's like, you should be ashamed of yourself. And you sit there and you're like, I am.
So wash your eyes with soap right now.
You might as well just pull a new Chiha and get a new pair of eyes. Because that's bad. So that's Annihilation for me. But the second movie was Resident Evil. Or not Resident Evil, it was Silent Hill. That's what it was for me. It was Silent Hill.
Oh, I'm so sad.
They made
Yeah.
a Silent Hill movie?
They did.
Yeah,
They
They
did.
did.
And
And
the
it
thing-
was not as dark as
it-
you thought.
It wasn't as... So here's the thing. Silent Hill movie wasn't, like, horribly bad.
No.
It was Silent Hill for sure. Like, it was Silent Hill the movie. But the thing about it is, I have this thing about fan service. I'm not a huge fan of fan service. It's good at first. It makes me enjoy it in the moment. But then afterwards, it puts a sour taste in my mouth. And that's kind of how I felt about, like, Endgame. You know, it was a lot of fan service, but it left a sour taste in my
I
mouth.
mean, because it disregards everything else.
Yeah, but Silent Hill was the same thing, where there was a lot of fan service. Like, I hear Silent Hill movie, and the first thing that comes to my head is, I can't wait to see Pyramid Head. And then you see Pyramid Head, and you're like, this is the greatest movie of all time. And then you watch it till the end, and it's over, and you're just like, why did I watch this? And so that was the thing for me when it came to Silent Hill. It was just like, it was one of those things where it was a game I enjoyed. I didn't play it growing up. I watched my uncle play it when I was growing up, but I still enjoyed the story of it. And I understood what Silent Hill meant as a place and as a game. And I was so intrigued by that for the film. And then it just fell apart. I think there were 2 Silent Hill movies too. And they were
Wow,
both terrible.
Really, too.
I think there were 2. And so it's like, I'm staying away from that. So those were my 2. So I'm glad that we got to talk about the positives and the negatives. So it kind of comes down to this last question then, which is video game movies. If there is a video game and it was handled well, so we're not going to assume it was going to be bad, but is there a video game adaptation that you would like to see? Even if a film already exists for that, because I mean, we're already going to see a new, what is it? What new movie is coming out?
Oh, Uncharted?
No, not Uncharted.
Are they making one?
Yeah, Tom
Yeah.
Holland is starring.
They're making an
as
Uncharted one.
Nathan Drake.
Wait, Tom Holland is Nathan Drake.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tom Holland is Nathan Drake.
I don't know how
Yeah.
I feel about that.
We're all
We're
still
not,
thinking
know
about
that
it.
we're not going to talk about it because we haven't seen anything about it. So I'm going to leave that one
Can't say
alone.
anything.
Okay.
But you know, there's new movies coming out that are supposed to be taking, you know, I mean, for instance, like Tomb Raider. There was the remake of the Tomb Raider movie that kind of wiped away the other ones. So if there's a video
which was
game
good.
that you really like to see as a movie adaptation, even if it already exists, what would it be, Santi?
Sleeping Dogs.
Yeah.
Please, with Donnie Yen.
Yeah.
Sleeping Dogs with Donnie Yen.
Yeah. That's
That's
enough said.
Gangster?
That's
Yeah.
enough
Him
said.
as the
We
main
see, we always see him as a
character.
good guy. I want to see him as a
Enough
bad.
said.
Oh man, just
Oh,
that whole
that's
Sleeping
a
Dog
good
story.
one. I
Like,
did not
See,
think of
and that's the
that.
thing, because if they could do it,
it'd be
Yeah.
it changes
Francis.
it changes the dynamic of how you and I look
I did
at video
not
game
think-
movies.
Yeah.
Because for us, it's like, oh, well, you know, video game movies, they shouldn't use the main character. They shouldn't be a main part. But if they did Sleeping Dogs, and if they did it right,
Like,
That
if
was-
they
Oh,
got Donnie
man.
Yen to do it,
Oh, man. So yeah, as you can tell, Sleeping Dogs is a great
It's
start
a
for this.
good
It's gonna have to
one.
be rated R.
Of course,
Absolutely.
yes.
They can't make a PG.
Has to
No,
be rated
it
R.
has to be.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if they make it PG-13 and say, well, it's a video game movie and we'll get more of the younger audience, no younger audience member knows anything about this
Sleeping
game.
Dogs is not a game
Yeah.
for younger.
We're
for
talking
younger
about
audience.
triads. We're talking about chaos. We're talking about murder.
We're talking about undercover
This is-
cops.
Yeah, we're talking about
Activity.
betrayal.
Have you
Corruption.
not
Yeah.
played Sleeping Dogs?
I played 2 hours of Sleeping Dogs and I couldn't get back to it.
The story is
Just,
is
you know,
amazing.
this is one of those games that I would tell you, you don't have to play it, watch it.
Imagine if they did the wedding scene right.
Oh my gosh. So the thing for that is, it's like, because the thing with the wedding scene, I think I'm probably the one person who's watched the most of Game of Thrones out of all the four of us.
I've seen
But-
literally nothing.
Yeah, the famous scene in Game of Thrones is the Red Wedding. And for anyone who's listening, who's ever seen Game of Thrones and knows what the Red Wedding is, it would be the wedding scene from Sleeping Dogs would be like the Red Wedding. And for you guys who haven't seen the Red Wedding, like after this, I want you to go look up the Red Wedding scene from Game of Thrones. Watch it. Because it's the feeling of pain that can come from such a sweet and genuine moment in life.
Of just the pure devastation, like
Oh,
just
man.
the absolute feeling of betrayal.
Exactly. Oh, Sleeping Dogs the movie.
Yeah,
I
my
need
choice.
this. All right, Francis, what about you?
Forget mine.
What? No,
I'm going with Sleeping Dogs.
You're going with Sleeping Dogs?
Yes.
What
I
was
did
your
not-
What was
original
your
one?
original one, dude?
Honestly, these were just for fun.
All right.
Because of one character in Horizon Zero Dawn. Russell Crowe would be a good character.
Ooh.
Okay.
But that's it.
Yeah, it's
I
just
couldn't think of anything.
But her
Sleeping
Horizon
Dogs
Zero
for
Dawn.
sure.
Oh yeah,
That's
Sleeping.
When you said that,
It's like,
eyes
ooh.
opened up.
What about you, John?
You know, you said it earlier. I want to see a Doom game.
A Doom.
Yeah,
A new Doom.
Yeah, I
First
want
person.
to do a hardcore Henry Doom.
Yeah.
That is amazing idea. That would game change me every. Oh man.
And have the opening. You just hear the.
I wanna
opening-
hear- no, I want to hear that. Like, because the recent Doom 3 game.
Yeah.
What in the world? That music is amazing. I
Uh-huh.
want more metal
Yeah.
and a Doom game, and that's what I want to see in a movie. As I want to see, you know, demons getting their heads smashed together. I want to
Yeah.
see spines getting ripped out.
Yeah.
What made you into a metal fan? Have you ever heard of Doom?
Have you?
Have you ever heard
Do
of
you-
Doom?
Have you heard of this game of culture called Doom?
Do you even Doom?
Do you?
Doom?
Yeah. Bro, your Doom is weak, bro.
Your Doom is weak, bro.
Doom is weak, bro.
I'm not your Doom, dude.
How do you feel about slaughtering demons with ridiculous weapons?
And having way too many weapons than you can physically carry. Welcome to Doom.
Another game? I think Malik might. Would you say Mass Effect, Malik?
Ow, you stole my thing!
Here I am thinking. I don't think he's gonna say Mass Effect.
And that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I would see a Mass Effect. Yeah, but I'm also curious.
As long as it's not Shepard.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the point,
what
yeah.
I was just about to.
It
It
can't
can't
be
be
Shepard.
Shepard
It can't be
because
Shepard,
Shepard is who we see Shepard as.
Precisely.
It's not.
Don't
it's
give
not-
my Shepherd a face.
Don't give what's his face? Who am I thinking of as Shepard? Oh, this is killing me.
Loki.
No,
Oh.
I was thinking of Samuel L. Jackson being.
Oh.
being
If-
Shepard.
If
and
Sam Jackson is my Shepherd, I approve. That's the one. Samuel L. Jackson as Commander Shepard in
I-
Mass Effect.
I want to
Damn,
see.
man.
if they do a Mass Effect, I want a Mass Effect 3 movie, and I want a soldier version of when the Reapers were coming down, and I want to see people saving lives.
The story of Earth.
The story
Mass
of Earth.
Effect. The story
that is
of
what,
Earth.
because Mass Effect 3 was all about outside of Earth.
Precisely.
You didn't go back to Earth until the end of the
and
game.
when you did, it was a mess.
It was chaotic. I want to see
bad.
a movie where you're constantly losing.
Or how about just N7? Because all we see of N7 is just Shepard.
Precisely.
I want to see more N7
Give me
stuff.
Don't even call it Mass Effect. Just call it N7.
That would
and drop that trailer on
November 7th.
Yeah. Drop that trailer on November 7th of the following year. We wanted to give you this trailer a year early on N7 Day.
That would be a great game.
See, and so
movie,
you guys...
Movie. What do you mean it's a great game? That's not what this podcast is about,
those concepts would be great games too. But for me, and Santi, you and I have bounced this idea back and forth about what a Mass Effect game should be like when it came to this specific aspects of the lore. And I always thought about how it wouldn't work as a game. But I didn't think about how it would work as a movie. And I think for me, the one thing I need to see, and then unfortunately N7 Days passed, so they can't really surprise me with this right now. But
they lost their chance.
I would love for them to announce Mass Effect, the First Contact War.
Oh, I got chills just now you saying that. Oh my god.
Right? Because the whole thing is, it starts off with this entire conflict of the races. And it could play, everyone likes a good story that plays to our current political climate. I'm not a fan of it, but it works though because
I want to shoot Turians.
Jeez.
Can you imagine encountering the Krogan for the first time in the
as
First
a
Contact
human
War?
Murder.
And just to see the Krogan charging at you.
Murder.
Oh my god.
And the way that the camera work can be done to add the intensity of that.
You
the
played
sound
Mass Effect,
effects. Right? No, he hasn't.
Oh,
and the thing about it is,
gonna stream this.
Because here's the thing. The movie, because remember, we talked about how the movie should add on to the game, right? If you've never played Mass Effect and you're about to start playing Mass Effect 1 through 3, why start with 1 through 3 when you should watch this movie that sets up the entire lore of what's leading into the game?
Shepard wouldn't be in it.
Reading about
Precisely.
Shepard wouldn't be
involved. And you know what? We're not following one human. The main protagonist is the human race. We're watching our people
interact with,
go through the struggle of the First Contact War.
That would be dope.
I think that I love Sleeping Dogs. I really do.
That was a great idea.
But
a movie about the First
Contact War. If there
was so much
how well done they could do just that first shot of ever seeing the Citadel for the first time,
right?
There was so much appendix in the game that led up to the first encounter, and
the
you
codex
could
has
do
so
much with that.
Yeah.
It's all the lore is already there for them.
Yeah,
they just need to adapt it.
You just got to toy with it a little bit.
Yeah, because the thing about it too is we talked. Because during the last podcast we were talking about space games because Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order was coming out around that time, and we were talking about Mass Effect and Jedi Fallen Order. And the thing for me is with the way that Star Wars is being handled right now, my love for space has been declining because I kind of got this love for space from Star Wars, and now that it's declining, I need something to keep me as a youth interested in the concept of space. Mass Effect is exactly what you could use to keep that spark going. Because you think about what are the 3 major space franchises that are known to us now? Star Trek, Star Wars, Mass Effect. So if Star Trek hasn't been doing too well with a lot of people from what I'm hearing, and if Star Wars is alive, we need something to thrive.
Working money on.
And Mass Effect could be that thing to thrive. And here's the thing with that, is it could be the great catalyst. Because, I don't know if you guys have heard, Mass Effect 5 is in development.
Ooh,
it's
really?
confirmed in development. So the thing with that is,
it's a sequel to Andromeda, or
they just said that a Mass Effect game is in the works.
They better not.
So we don't know. But this is my thing.
Don't make me beat Andromeda.
Unless the Turians go somewhere else and you're a Turian.
I don't want that.
Because the Turians never show up in Andromeda.
I don't want that. The thing for me is, if you're gonna have me be another alien race,
they were the one
let
that
me
got
choose what race. But
it was hilarious.
Doesn't matter.
For me, it's if I'm gonna be another race, let me choose what race I'm gonna be. But if I'm gonna be stuck as a race, it's gonna be human. But the thing about it is, a movie would lead so well into this new game if it was handled right. And the thing is, because all of us are talking about if they were handled right, unfortunately, they probably wouldn't be. Not everything's gonna be Detective Pikachu.
Just become a director, Malik, and you do it.
No, I couldn't be a director.
But one thing that we can be a little optimistic about is that like as a general trend, video movies are getting better compared to how when they first started being
Very
made.
true.
Yeah.
As the same thing, like look at how comic movies used to be.
Yeah.
Comic movies used to be hot garbage.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the first Hulk.
The first Hulk wasn't.
The only Hulk.
Oh, you're talking about like Ang Lee's Hulk?
Yeah, Ang Lee's Hulk.
Compared to Ed Norton,
Mhm.
Incredible Hulk? Yeah. So you got a point there.
So like as the people who grew up with video games get into those positions where they're able to direct movies and be faithful to like the source material and stuff, or to do it justice, people who make these movies actually love the stuff instead of doing it for the money.
Yeah.
Then that's when they start getting good. Same thing happened with the comic book movies.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, jeez.
That's the
Actually,
circle,
wait,
man.
Wait, I got a question.
Whoa.
How would Dead Space do as a movie?
Let's not talk about that. No.
Oh
No.
my
You
gosh.
said don't talk about it.
Let's not talk about that. And the only
Oh.
reason why I don't want to talk about that is because Dead Space is one of those games where
It's already. a
it's
movie.
kind of like Resident Evil and Silent Hill, where it's not going to attract a lot of people.
I mean, I wouldn't watch it because I can't play Dead Space. It's too scary for me.
Well, for me, it's like I wouldn't watch it because
I never played it.
when I think about horror, there are way better games that can do horror a lot better than Dead Space.
I don't like horror with the exception of Eldritch horror. I really like Eldritch horror for some reason.
That's a strange thing.
No, it's actually pretty whimsical.
I mean, no, it makes sense for you, honestly.
Yeah,
I see it.
yeah. Let's not talk about.
But Dead Space was my horror. That was.
Dead Space scared. I tried playing it. I was like, I can't handle this.
I went through
can't.
all three of them, dude. Oh,
I mean,
my goodness.
To answer it, can I see it as a good movie?
No.
Yes. No, yeah, I can see it as a good movie.
No.
Can I see it as a movie that's going to be successful? No. Because the fan base for Dead Space is kind of not there anymore.
R.I.P. Visceral.
Yeah, it died with the multiplayer.
Pretty much. Yeah. So, I mean...
It died when they tried making it into an action shooter.
Yeah, because here's the thing. If they do a Dead Space movie, it's not going to be supported. It's going to be dead on arrival. Because they're going to be like, oh, a Dead Space movie's in the works. And the fans are going to be like, boo, why are you giving us this garbage? And it's like, all right, I guess we're just going to not do it anymore. So, yeah.
That's a shame.
Yeah. All right.
That was your
So-
one question, Francis.
Yeah,
That was very
I was
deep.
just wondering.
That was a
We
good
got
question.
really deep into
That
that.
was a good question.
I really appreciated all the discussion that came from this. That was
Ugh,
heavy.
I'm gonna re-listen to this later.
Yeah. So, with that being said, we're coming to the end of tonight's podcast, and we want to thank you all who are still listening at this point. So, for now, we want to kind of give you a hint of what's coming up for the future of the Gauntlet of Gaming. So, for those of you who don't know, the nominations for Game of the Year, or not for Game of the Year, but the Game Awards in general for 2019 have been out. We have our own personal views on what we think should be the games to win on certain categories. We also have our own kind of feedback about the nominees, and we'll try to keep that to ourselves, or we'll talk about it during the next podcast because it's interesting. But that is going to be our next podcast. So in 2 weeks, be sure to look out for that, where we talk about our feelings about the Game Awards nominations and what we think it's going to look like. We're hoping that we can live stream the Game Awards for you all. So if you're interested in, watching us yell at games and freak out over the potential of maybe Marvel versus Capcom 4, hopefully showing up as a teaser within the Game Awards.
An honest host can wish.
I mean, hey, if Mortal Kombat 11 could be announced at the Game Awards, I don't see why Marvel vs. Capcom 4 couldn't be either. So,
Give me
fingers
PlayStation
crossed.
All-Stars 2.
finger crossed. Where that? PlayStation All-Stars 2. Fingers crossed.
Give me PlayStation
I just want to be able to scream
Or
in front of
just-
chat.
MVC2 remastered.
Or another Jack and Daxter.
Stop making me have hope.
So
So that's our future. We're going to be doing some Game Award stuff. So keep an eye out for our social media. That's
It's
what you're
probably
going to be
gonna
seeing.
get heated. It will get
Yeah,
Lego
it's going to
United.
be.
I'm gonna be heated.
Yeah, where there's, if you're not a fan of salt, both the context of food and also the context of attitude, I suggest you stay away because we're gonna have a lot of salt.
I just love the food. I like salt in general.
Looking at you here, Jump Force.
Stop. We'll talk about Jump Force in 2 weeks. So with that,
I'm already mad.
oh man, with that, I'd like to say thank you for sticking around. Make sure you subscribe to our channel if you enjoyed this podcast. It's probably going to be split into 2 parts because this was deep.
We are loud talkers.
We went deep. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like the podcast and any other videos if you enjoy what you're getting out of it. Make sure to share this with your friends so that way they can get this content too. We're trying to make ourselves the big thing in Elk Grove and spread ourselves as far as we can so that way we can have these discussions. Not a lot of people are having these discussions, so we figure we should. And make sure you're following us on social media. There's a lot of content to come in the future. We know it's kind of slow and barren, but I mean, we just started, so give us some time.
Our second episode.
Yeah, so be patient with us. We'll get there eventually. And normally what I like to do is I'd like to end with a question of the day, whether it's something that a fan asked us or if it's just a question I want to throw out there to all of us. And I think we already kind of touched on.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Yeah, we already touched on this question of the day.
Totally touched this question already.
Conversation about this just now.
Yeah. And so I think for us,
just had a nerdgasm like 20
yeah.
seconds ago.
So for us, I'll change the question. But for you, the fans, what I would say is this: for you, the people listening, if you could have any video game, and even if you're not a gamer, if there's a video game someone likes, if you could have any video game turned into a movie, and let's just assume it was handled well, because we always want to wish for the best and not wish for the worst. If any video game that you enjoy could be turned into a movie, what would it be? I'm curious to hear everyone's ideas. Please let us know down in the comment section below, or let us know on social media. I'm really curious to hear what people have to say, because we're all different types of gamers. We all have different types of interests, and we most definitely enjoy different types of movies.
Although I can't imagine any non-gamers putting up with us for this long.
I mean, we do have family.
I put up with myself.
My family didn't even listen to the whole podcast.
It'd be like that
sometimes.
sometimes.
I know 2 people who put up with the whole podcast.
It'd also be like that
I wasn't
sometimes.
one of them.
I listened to the whole podcast.
Oh, man. Well, with that being said, my friends, do you have anything that you'd like to add?
I just want to thank Malik for setting all of this up for all 4 of us. This is amazing, man.
All the graphics, all the artwork.
Yeah.
You done for this podcast.
You work
so
too
good.
hard.
You work way too hard.
The intro is way better than we deserve.
Yeah, the intro felt way too good for us, and we appreciate the early Christmas gift.
Hey,
so thank you
I
so
mean,
much, man.
What do you want for Christmas?
Sleep.
I can't gift these, but I can gift other things.
You can give some L's.
Oh
man, I mean, when it comes to that, it's just it's something I'm passionate about, and when I'm passionate about something as an artist and as a person, I give it my 150%. So for me,
it really had that Max feel to it.
Yeah, for me, it's just I do like me some Maximilian Dude, so I was kind of inspired. But don't worry, I'll talk about Max when we talk about Game Award nominations. But yeah, no, I mean. I said it before and I'll say it again. I don't do this for me. I do this for everyone else. I feel like this is something that should be out there. And for me specifically, being in this Elk Grove area, I feel like we need to have some kind of gaming community that's being built up. And if it means starting with us, even if it's just the 4 of us, maybe 6 people, 7 people, I want it to grow, because what are we known for here in Elk Grove aside from being, rich white people?
Having a horrible bowling alley.
Everyone who's not in Elk
Shut
Grove.
up about that. First of all, Santi.
I mean,
nobody wants to hear it.
Never.
Nobody wants to hear
I will
it.
never not complain about strikes.
Stop talking.
Oh god.
I'm waiting for him to not call me supervisor.
Anyways,
I'm the only one.
That's what I was waiting for.
But that's that's my thing. That's why I give it my all, because I want this to grow, and eventually it's not going to be in my hands anymore, and I can't wait to really see where it goes. I mean, if it falls flat and it gets broken apart, it's whatever. It was cool while it lasted. I got to live out my dream. So yeah, I mean, I appreciate y'all giving me thanks, but at the end of the day, I just did it for everybody else.
I'll give you more than thanks.
The first cuddle on this bed already.
This is supposed to be a family-friendly podcast. Contain yourselves, my friends. Anyways, before my friends get destroyed into a pulp before the end of the podcast, I'd just like to give a huge thank you to all of you who are listening.
Yeah, you guys
This
rock.
means nothing without you, because we just be 4 guys talking into a mic.
We still are
Bear
that,
with
guys.
us, please.
We have
Yeah.
6 subscribers.
Yeah, we have more than that.
We have great friends outside
Yeah.
of the community.
I
Yeah,
have-
we got some views
I
last
think we're
night.
at-
It was
I think we're at
great.
14 subscribers.
We have each other.
We do have each other. Unfortunately, never mind.
Never mind.
Well, with that being said, everyone, thank you so much for joining us again for another podcast. I cannot wait to put out more content for all of you, so keep an eye out for that. And for those of you who are following me on my personal social medias, I apologize that all you see is the Gauntlet of Gaming, because as it stands right now, this is currently my life. So, sorry, not sorry. And with that being said, remember, we're the Gauntlet of Gaming. These hands are rated E for everyone. And we will see and talk to you all later. Bye!